All right, excellent afternoon to all those who are watching me across the states in Nigeria and Africa, and have been corrected in the world because I have a lot of fans in London or in diaspora, and of course in America. Quite a number of people corrected me last week. So one thing we can do for ourselves before others do it wrongly for us is to tell our stories ourselves. And when documentaries are written or are put into record by foreigners, it robs us of let's say culture, customs, and the truths about our people. Today's episode will be about us telling our story as a society better than ourselves. Again, I welcome you to another interesting episode of Real Talk with Kike. I remain your convener, Kike Atanda-Owo. I think it's important for us to hear what On This Day Industry segment has for us. When I return, I give my 2 cents on it. Stay with me. I'll be right back. All right, many thanks for staying with me. On this the industry segment, exactly 2019, this happened, and the fact that we haven't found solutions to the manias of insurgency and terrorism have led to us having another new sect and terrorist group. I don't want to call their names because it may be paramount to popularizing them, but we treated this topic here a few weeks ago, and on this the industry segment today further emphasizes the need, to finding lasting solutions to our problem before, a problem fosters another problem. I think that's my takeaway from On This Day Industry segment today. I think it's important for us to get the message from my sponsors, those who have put me on this platform, and when I return, we'll dive straight to the topic at hand. Stay with me. I'll be right back. All right, many thanks for staying with me. This edition of Real Talk with Kike today delves into a captivating conversation with a filmmaker and a cultural storyteller. Zainab brings a latest documentary, My Father, the Emir, and a portrait of Bayero into focus. A deeply personal and insightful film that retraces the life and legacy of the late Emir of Kano and Alhaji Bayero. The documentary provides an exploration of the intersection between the tradition and the, let's say, modernity or modality or the modern world of today, recording the challenges of being a royal in the 21st century. My guest will also highlight our experiences as a modern woman navigating life in a conservative society. Through our lenses, we gain access to a world where cultural expectations and personal identity often collide, and of course, where royal duties meet the realities of contemporary living. The striking aspects of this documentary are multifaceted, from polygamy to royal family to Northern Emirates culture, and of course the women and the society. So on the live show today, my guest will share a journey into filmmaking, the cultural and societal prejudice, and of course that she has faced, and how she has, channeled those challenges into creative expression. And I think it's important for us to get in our guest. When I return, we'll be speaking with her. Stay with me. I'll be right back. All right, welcome to the show, Princess Zainab Bayero. I think that's how I want to describe you today. How are you doing today? It's good to have you on Real Talk with Kike.
I'm really happy to be here with you.
No, I want you to feel happy. I need you to feel alive. You know, your voice, your words is not, colliding with your body. What's it called?
Language.
Countenance. So I need you to feel alive. So let's dive straight to it. You mentioned that. Yeah. Your personal experiences, have shaped your storytelling approach. So I would like us to start from there. How did these experiences, specifically inspire the Zainab, the concept behind the documentary that you've provided today?
Yes. To tell you the truth, I never imagined I would be a filmmaker or I would go into producing or directing documentaries. Okay. It's incredible that this is happening to me right now at this point in my life. But when I was a child, I loved watching movies, and the experience that I got from the movie making experience was like incredible. But growing up in a very conservative society, which is Kano, I wasn't really exposed to filmmakers or people in the arts, because it wasn't really that kind of society where you got a lot of artistic people really expressing that part of themselves. But as time went on, I kind of figured that I really gravitated towards the arts. And the reason was that with art, I could escape from my world if I wasn't really comfortable or happy in that space, because sometimes I didn't feel accepted, as much as I would want to be, because I guess they felt I was a bit different because I wasn't like fully Fulani Hausa, so that kind of made me feel isolated at times. And so that isolation kind of drove me much more into escaping into novels, books, and of course movies. And then later in my life, I started watching a bit of documentaries, and then I was like, okay, documentaries can be really fascinating also because they delve into a person's life, capturing the person's essence, because you're really seeing archival footages, you're seeing that person in real time, and it's not just someone, portraying that person. So this journey into this documentary about my late dad was even surprising to me, because I never imagined I would tell my father's story in a documentary format, because he was such an iconic man. At first I didn't think that I had the skills to pull it off, but as a daughter who really loved the father and admired who he was, I guess I thought that, yeah, maybe I'm the one who could tell the story. Now I've seen a lot of...
And now, yes, we're talking about it, and daughters love their fathers anyway. I would dive straight to the issue of, being comfortable in the cultural environment, and the fact that you feel like an outcast sometimes, maybe probably because of your mother's
background
and all of that. But, let me move away from that a little bit, because in your past interview, I did a lot of I Googled you, and you've emphasized on the importance of showcasing African culture, So in your work, as a filmmaker, how does this documentary portray, the Nigerian culture that you are hoping for, the kind of change you expect from our people? What aspects were most important for the highlight of the documentary?
Yeah, this documentary captures, the Fulani dynasty, the, Usman Dan Fodio descendant, that is the Dabo dynasty in Kano, which my father was a representative of for 51 years as the Emir of Kano. But also you're immersed in the northern culture, which, we showcase the beautiful scenery in Kano, certain beautiful landmark spots. And of course, the culture, we're talking about the outfits, the environment, the Doba festivals, the Salah festivals. And so you get to experience that culture that you don't really see all the time in the mainstream media, especially in the north. The north is very closed up sometimes, so people are not really comfortable to really go there and explore that culture all the time. But people do, but they don't really get the real essence of it, because sometimes it's not really the North telling their stories. Yeah, anyone can tell a story. I know you can be from a different part of the world and tell a story, but there's something about you belonging to a tribe or belonging to a place, and then you see the different nuances in the story and your people, and then you get to tell that culture. Even though I come from two different ethnic groups, I grew up and I was raised in the north, so I know the culture. I've been around it all my life. I've seen how people, respect him, and you see all that in the documentary. You see the way people kind of praise him, with the sound, even with the tambourine and the, beating of the sounds and like that when they're welcoming him into the car and stuff like that. It's really beautiful, and those parts of our culture are really, not showcased enough. And I really want people to see that part, that, okay, we have such a beautiful culture.
Are you sure it's not showcased enough? Because I see quite enough of that online and all, but probably I understand your perspective. But now, talking about the Nigerian culture and specifically the northern tradition of marriage, I'm talking about polygamy and women. You cannot be talking about the north and not talk about the polygamy. What can you say about your background that has influenced you in how you told this story in terms of the northern culture to the world, using your story, using that polygamy in terms of something that has been embraced, in the north, that I don't want to say other ethnic group now trying to follow suit.
Yeah, Islamically, a man has a right to wives and concubines. Yeah. And concubines. So yeah, that's part of the Islamic religion, and so that's, Islam is the predominant religion in the north. So of course it has been adapted by the society, and it's basically part of what the society is about, And I guess maybe individuals might want to adapt another part and say, okay, even though we're Muslims, I might decide to be with one wife, I might just have a simple family, or I might take 2, 3, or 4. I think that's a part of the North and Muslims in general, that, that's who we are. But at the same time, it's a changing world, and modernity kind of encroaches in everything at certain points. But it's still very much the norm in the North, though. But with polygamy, my own experience with it is that, you have to respect the other wives, no matter what. You have to see them as your mothers also. But at the same time, there are divisions in the family. I'm not going to pretend that it's all perfect and, everything is...
Do you think that's what leads to how you feel emotionally being an outcast, probably because your mother is not probably from the north?
Yeah, definitely. That definitely contributed to my feeling like an outcast, not just in the personal setting of my family, but even in the wider society. Where in school, I was getting some remarks and comments like, she doesn't look like her Emir's daughter, her mom isn't northern.
Dress like her.
And her mom is not Hausa, she covers, but she's not also. How would she be a princess? So I was like, it's possible for a northern man to fall in love with another tribe. Don't you people know that? They were like, oh, but, it's like, it was so strange to them that my mom wasn't from the north, and that kind of really affected me in a way that I was like, okay, so people kind of judge, from a very early age. I saw that people kind of judge based on tribe, not just race, different tribes, and I started feeling the divisions, and that's part of Nigeria, but people are really, aware that there's divisions in Nigeria, but I think it shouldn't be that way because, we're just so beautiful in our differences, in our different ethnic groups and our cultures. And when we merge with those different cultures, it can create something really spectacular. But people don't really see that. They tend to see the difference. And that really affected me profoundly because I wanted to embrace both sides of me. But it was very difficult growing up because I wanted to fit in at a point, and that made you adapt. But when I kind of grew up, I decided that I had to be who I'm most comfortable with.
Absolutely. I agree with you. You must be who you are comfortable with. But listening to you, I have 2 questions for you because of time. You've previously spoken about the creative process of being both, I would say, rewarding and challenging, because of your background. What were some of the biggest obstacles that you can say you encountered, working on this documentary? I really don't want us to shift focus from your work, your creative work, and of course, how did this shape your final product of the work? That's my first question to you. And my second question to you, based on some of the things you've shared regarding relations, in your previous interviews that I saw online, you've often mentioned how the royal heritage, has shaped your worldview. And listening to your submission today, I quite agree with you, because if you see different cultures and different human behaviors, definitely it will shape your worldview. You come from a royal family of the Bayeros, your uncle is Professor Sanusi Lamido, and I would like to ask you, what's your take on, or his stance, with regards to the ongoing royal tussle between your family and that of your uncle, and of course your relationship with your half brothers till date. What's your take on these two questions?
Okay, creatively, the documentary was challenging in every aspect. That's the truth. From writing, from getting the archival footages, and of course deciding how I'm going to tell the story, because okay, it's sensitive. This was a religious story, leader, a revered monarch. So you're going to be very careful what aspects of his life you're going to
put out there.
Exactly. So that was what I grappled with. And at the same time, okay, are people going to think she's not being, is she unbiased in her portrayal of her father? Is she expressing too much positivity? So I was kind of conflicted about those aspects. But at the end, I just decided to tell the story of a man who was loved by the public, who I figured is a founding father of this great country. And it was me, his daughter, telling his story, his history to the world. And of course, it's also like a tourism piece for Kano, like talking about the backdrop of Kano as, a great ancient city in Africa. So, of course, getting the archives and deciding how I'm going to film and how I'm going to shoot it were the hardest parts. And, of course, writing the script and narrating and all that, because this was my first time. So that was the very difficult part of the creative process. But I had a great support system in my mom and the little crew I gathered together. But it was extremely challenging, especially being the first time I'm doing this and about a very sensitive topic and in a conservative society. Like Lagos is the entertainment capital in Nigeria. So it's not like I was filming where you have access to so much, entertainment and stuff like that. Yeah, people would argue that Kano is the Kannywood of the North, but it's nothing compared to Lagos.
Lagos, definitely. Yeah. So what about the tussle between?
Yeah, with my family, Lamido Sanusi, the Emir of Kano right now, is someone I would say as a progressive. He's someone who speaks his mind a lot. He's very blunt. So sometimes I rub people the wrong way, but that's just who he is. He can't help it. And I admire people who are comfortable with who they are, who don't put up airs or try to pretend or something like that. And when it comes to my father's sons, these are people that I grew up with. I was a child, and the deposed Emir Aminu is someone that used to come to my mom and I, and we'll sit for hours and he'll be chatting with my mom. So I knew him as a big brother who would chat with us for hours and stuff like that. Of course, I have more history with him, but right now that history is broken. We don't have that relationship that we used to. It's a long story, unfortunately, and that's sad because families should unite. And right now with the tussle, it's even more unfortunate because these are people who are the custodians now of this great emirate, and they shouldn't be, out there being at war with each other. I don't believe is the right way to do it. I think they should come to an understanding as brothers and decide to just, okay, Allah has decided that this is your turn or this is my turn and this is what's going on. And they should try to make it about that seat, you know, where it shouldn't be used as a pawn or a game in political intrigues, you know, it should just be respected. Where an emir is supposed to rule as long as Allah destines him to, but not that, you know, this happens, one goes and another comes back. I believe they should try and make it about, you know, that respect that the ancestors fought for and, you know, try to make peace and just move on.
All right, I have a follow-up question to your submission right now, but we'll go on a quick break, and when I return, the conversation will continue. Stay with me. I'll be right back. This is Real Talk with Kike. All right, glad to know you're still right there with us. In case you just joined the show today, we've had a real talk, or truly engaging real talk, with Zainab, a filmmaker and of course a cultural storyteller, as she takes us into the art of her latest documentary, My Father the Emir, a portrait of Bayero. We've explored how the documentary bridges the gap between tradition and the modern world that we live in today, shedding light on the complexity of being a royal in the 21st century. And I must say that we've been touched on some striking themes on polygamy, will I say the Northern Emirate culture, the role of women in the society, the acceptance of the children in a polygamous environment, the royal responsibility with personal identity, and I must say many thanks for all that you've shared thus far with us, Zainab. You know, but I think it's important for me to quickly open the phone lines. For those who are watching me right now, remember that you can be part of this conversation by calling the studio number 081-188-8113, showing on your screen right now. And of course, we're streaming live on Facebook, both on Real Talk with Kike platform and on Silverbird platform as well. And Zainab, you know, like I said that, you know, I have a follow-up question with, you know, your last submission. But let me just quickly put aside that, because you've been quoted as saying that women's voices are essential, you know, in shaping the narrative of our world today. And you are a lady, and your mother is from Edo State, which you've communicated on this platform in terms of her background. But perhaps, you know, this story would have been said differently by a male counterpart, so to speak, you know, in terms of the family background, the stories, you know, the culture, the values they feel. How does this documentary, your work now, because aside Zainab coming from this royal family, Zainab is here today on the capacity of your work as a filmmaker, as a storyteller. Your documentary, I believe, has contributed to amplifying women's stories, you know, on perspective that quite a number of us shy away from, you know, when it comes to the messages that gives hope to the world, to send to female creatives. So what's your take thus far in terms of how to describe this documentary, a thought-provoking one at that, which I feel that is deeply emotional? What kind of message do you think that you want to pass across today to those who are going through some of the challenges they are going through, or to those who are behind you, to help them navigate where they are today?
Yeah, I would say the first thing is you need to be strong and you need to be brave, you know, because it's never easy to go against the norm or try to break free or try to break that glass as women. So you need to work hard. And the first thing is you have to be fearless. I remember Alexander the Great that said, fortune favors the brave. So you definitely have to brave up, and you have to believe in yourself, which isn't easy. I know that myself. I've been vulnerable. I'm still vulnerable a lot of times.
I believe vulnerability actually bets something greater in people's lives. Yeah, it's good to be vulnerable. As a leader, you must show your vulnerability to get to the next level.
But sometimes we're too scared to show that we can be weak, we can be emotional. But, you know, you need to embrace those parts of you where you can break down, you can lose hope, and you feel that, oh, maybe this is not meant for me. But just never give up on believing in yourself and believing in what you can do, what you're capable of. Sometimes you think you're not even capable of something, but when you try, you find out that you're actually great at it and you can change the world. So I think I would advise upcoming creatives and young women, especially women in parts of the world who don't get the opportunities I'm talking about, if it's Afghanistan, now Pakistan, you know, different parts of the world where the culture is really restrictive, even in the north here, and just stand up for yourself. It can be scary and you can feel so overwhelmed, but it's worth it in the end when you go for your dreams, and you never know where that journey will take you.
And really, it's worth it because you have gained popularity with your story today. That's the reason why you're here, and you feature on a lot of platforms today. So, you know, storytelling is a powerful tool for driving societal change, however we look at it. So if you had the chance to go into politics, I tell people, politics define everything we stand for today. That's the truth, Zainab. So I must ask you, because however you look at your storytelling, all your work, it's political. I don't care how you look at it, but it's the truth. So I tell people, politics define our world today, who we are as a person. So what my question now is, you know, what are the levels or forms at which you think that your power into politics in governance will bring with the kind of change that you are requesting for, or you are seeking for in Nigeria or as a society at large?
I think you're one of the 5th or 6th people who have mentioned politics and said, I think you have what it takes to be a politician. I've never even thought of that. I'm always like, oh no, politics is not me. But you're right. We live in a world where, whether you like it or not, you're part of the political system, because politics affects every part of our lives. Yeah, and if I was to fight for change, I would definitely want gender equality in lots of ways, whether it's the economic or the political system. And of course, you know, the downtrodden in the society to have a chance at, you know, the necessities in life. You know, nobody's asking to be the most wealthy person in the world, but we just want comfort and security and peace. So I would fight for people to feel safe, to be free from, you know, the fear of prejudice and hate and harm. And of course, you know, to have that equal pay and equality between the sexes. Because I think women, we've been so looked down upon in history for too long, where we feel we don't deserve to have equal pay or the equal exposure with men. And I think that's not true. If you work hard enough as a woman and you deserve what you need, whether it's a pay or a promotion, you should get it.
We have loads of women who are in the corridor of power today, all over the world. Ngozi Okwueje is one woman who have worked hard to be where she is today, and many other women like that in Wimbies and name it. So you are going to be championing that very soon in the corridor of power. But, you know, with what you have just said now in terms of your last submission, however you look at it, we are seeking for equal rights, equal respect now.
Yes.
I think the word is respect, because sometimes, you know, especially from the background you come from, you know, from the north, you know, and looking at your family dynamics at the moment, what message, what you have to say, you know, regarding you as a woman, I don't want to use the word feminism now, you know, in terms of how to drive that change between yourself and your siblings. Because like I said earlier when we went on a break, our grandparents actually caused this mess that we found ourselves. How do we start from that change? Have you, Zainab, reached out to your half-brother to say that, you know what, regardless of whatever differences we have, wherever my mother comes from, how do we come together and unite to, you know, be a better support system to one another? Have you reached out to any of your half-siblings?
Of course, over the years, we've tried to, you know, come to an understanding, like, okay, we might not like this, but we can't change it. We're family. But, you know, when people's minds are made up, I don't think you can change it, because I didn't receive a word of encouragement or a call ever since I've been on this journey. Like, oh, Zainab, we're glad you did this for our father's memory. We want to support you in this capacity or that. Not from any brother. And it was really quite shocking and sad. But I get it. Maybe I'm a woman. I shouldn't be doing this. I'm not.
Or do you think they expect that you need an approval, sort of? You know, why I'm asking this question is because of the sensitivity with the culture of Islam, especially when it comes to a woman doing certain things that they feel that a male counterpart should be the one doing. Do you think that probably if you had directed this channel of approval from them, maybe there would have been a more better support system from their end?
No, I don't think it has to do with that. Like this current Deposed Emir, when I was still on the journey, I actually told him about this.
Okay.
And I said, if you want to be part of this, you can be. And one-on-one, he was like, yeah, great idea. But after that, nothing happened. So I just decided that I have to go on this journey alone. Because if you're going to say that because of a Muslim woman and the religion and the sensitivity, you can't do this, we're never going to move forward. Muslim women are never going to have the rights that we deserve to have. I mean, when you look at Christian women, Hindu women, they've achieved so much, you know, because their men support them. Say what you want to say that, yeah, misogyny is everywhere in the world. Yeah, I agree. But with other religions, they get the opportunity to take, you know, their passions, their dreams further than Muslim women. Yeah, Muslim women are now, you know, trying to get to their dreams and their ambitions and stuff. Yeah, I know some Muslim women have achieved great things, no doubt. But it's much more harder for us because the religion restricts us in a lot of ways, and with the men believing that, no, you should be in the backseat, especially from the kind of society, like you said, that I come from, and being royal. You won't see women doing this on talk shows and stuff like this. This is the first time. It's unprecedented for someone in that royal home to be doing this, a female. So, you know, I knew they would not approve of it. So I just had to go on this journey.
Okay, I think that says a lot regarding their own reaction to your personal journey right now. So my last question to you right now is, based on your past interviews, you know, you've expressed excitement, you know, about exploring new narratives, you know, in the future. And after this documentary, I must ask you, what's next for Zainab? You know, are there other untold stories, or will I say causes that you're passionate about that you want to bring to life?
So many stories that I want to tell, whether it's biopics or documentaries, even writing stories, you know, great stories, fictional and real stories, and I want to explore different aspects. I'm passionate about fashion also.
Have you thought about being an author? Or
yes.
Maybe children's books?
Yeah,
because I feel that the root causes of some of these challenges starts from
childhood. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I would love to explore that someday when I become a mom. Like writing children's books, teenage stories and adult stories, you know, so much I want to do.
All right, fantastic. We wish you the very best as you continue to
and thank you for having me.
Navigate this journey of your life and, of course, your career path. On this note, I think it's important for us to move to the last segment of the show that we call Trending Stories. These are stories that bind us as Nigerians, as Africans. And this is where I have an opinion as a host. My first trending story today is that of the Davido's recent comments about, you know, Nigerians' economy being in shambles. And first off, what is the big deal about Davido saying that Nigerians' economy is in shambles? Let's be honest, guys. If he had sugar-coated the reality and claimed that the country is thriving, many people still would drag him, saying it's because his father is wealthy, is out of touch with the struggles of the masses. The truth is, in Nigeria, no matter what you say or do, there's always criticism that comes with it. Chief Jele Muhammadu's recent words hit the nail for me in terms of, you know, he said, we are a nation that vents behind closed doors, but throws debt at anyone's bold enough to speak publicly. Even global icons like Alhaji Aliko Dangote and Mr. Femi Otedola have all expressed their frustrations with the state of the nation. So why should Davido, an artist who feels the pulse of ordinary Nigerians, be any different? Because the reaction to Davido's comments highlights a troubling trend in our country, whether citizens are expected to be patriotic after supporting bad leadership as one commentator rightly said, you know, the leaders aren't patriotic. They are greedy, you know, making things difficult for the poor masses. But the citizens should be patriotic by supporting their bad leadership. I really don't understand, Zainab. And for me, right, it's okay, you know, for people to say also, but let's not forget the recent, you know, harsh realities in Nigeria. Whether we like it or not, we must put it out there. And the first hardship that I feel that I must emphasize on today is the economic hardship and the subsidy removal. Wherever we find ourselves today is based on the subsidy removal that was poorly removed, that was poorly planned and executed, leaving Nigerians really without adequate palliative. The failed healthcare and infrastructure as well is another thing I want to emphasize on. People are dying daily from preventive causes. English wants to fail me right now. Yet the statistics are ignored because it hasn't personally affected many of us. The third thing that I would like to quickly put out there is the fact that the massive corporate exit, big organizations, big companies are leaving Nigeria, shrinking job opportunities and worsening the economic crisis. Should I start mentioning the company PZ, Shell, name it? So lastly for me is the fact that, you know, rugged man, you know, was apt in putting it out there that we must fix Nigeria so no one repeats what Davido have said. Criticism like Davido should be seen as a call to action, not an attack. The harsh truth is that what can save our country, Nigeria, today is the question I'm putting out there. Do we keep sugarcoating issues? Pretending all is well when nothing is all well. One organization today are not paying staff salary for 3 months. The digital age has also brought new challenges today. While people were quick to attack Davido online, few took time to reflect on his words. It's high time we move past emotional reactions, guys. Sentiment. Let's focus on solutions. Nigerians cannot move forward if we stifle the voice that challenges the status quo. Instead of we try to verify what Davido has said, let his comments rather ignite meaningful conversation about building this nation, Nigeria. Let's try as much as possible to actually pay attention to true patriotism, not lies in demanding better leadership and system that works for everyone, not in blind loyalty for failure. I just feel that the way people took its message was unnecessary, a no-no for me. Zainab, quickly, you must have seen this trending on social. What's your take on this?
I did. That is basically what's happening in Nigeria, really. We're in a very bad situation. It's the truth, everything you just said. And I don't know why people be against anyone, whether you're a celebrity or a politician. When you say the reality, why should someone be attacked for that? I don't get it. I think we need to say the truth, and our leaders should be held accountable for this because, you know, like you said, people are dying constantly, but when it doesn't affect you, you kind of feel, oh, but I think this affects everyone in one way or the other, you know, because it's so bad. I mean, when it comes to transportation, it comes to inflation and food prices, it affects you so much, even accommodation, everything is like triple, quadruple of what it was.
I don't want to know how much we pay as PACN in my house, but let's move away from that.
You know?
But many thanks for your submission on the first trending story. Let's move quickly to the second trending story, which is the last Smile official that miraculously, you know, rescue man that was trapped under, you know, 40 feet container at Smile 12. You know, I saw this video yesterday. I cringed because while I want to thank God for the life of the person saved, but then again, you know, looking at the video right now, and I'm wondering, it could be anyone. Must we wait until all the citizens of Lagos are crushed by trucks? Look at the records. The recording alone is becoming a menace to me, if you ask me. These trucks have turned into a life-taking machines on Lagos State roads. Just think about the recurring tragedies. Mile 12 accident alone, a 40-feet container fell on Toyota Camry. Thankfully, yes, the driver was rescued and rushed to the hospital. There's another one that happened also in Obadikoro, brake failure that led to a multiple vehicle collision involving a 40-feet container, leaving 3 people trapped and needing rescue. Another one happened at Ojuelegba, and another 40-feet container as well fell on a Toyota Corolla. So I'm asking myself, 3 lives were narrowly saved. How do we move forward? Again, and I saw on socials again about a Ogudu, you know, tragedy that happened. A woman who lost her own life when a 40-feet, what's it called, tanker, articulated, or how will I put it now? You know, crushed her car. The list is exhausting. And I feel that this can be preventable. Lagos is a major hub making enormous revenue from the ports. I know how much I pay at the ports regularly when I want to clear my goods. Should it not allow, or I don't know how to put it now, how do we continue to allow such a death trap to persist on its road, on Lagos Road? Why can't the government empower safety agencies enough to remove these killing machines, unfit trucks with unqualified drivers from our roads? Safety guidelines are failing in Nigeria. Our approach is medicinal after death and campaign after election. Where are the strict, you know, measures to ensure that they are compliant to all these challenges we are facing today? Why should preventable disaster keep trending as breaking news? Sometimes you are watching a program, you will just say breaking news. Your heart will beep. I hope it's not somebody that I know. Even the response time of emergency services is painfully slow. They can sometimes, I don't know how to put it. I think we need to just do better. This is very disturbing for me. And the issue, the fact that we are in a digital age, you see some people just bring out their phone and start recording during the accident. People who are supposed to, people will whip out their phones, Zainab's, recording gory sites that instead of them helping people who have found themselves in challenges, respecting the scene, you know. In a saner country, such are immediately barricaded that you know, protecting both the victims and the public from mental trauma. So Lagos needs to wake up. I don't know what else to say, but I keep it real on this platform. That's why it's called Real Talk with Kike. These are not mere accidents. They are systematic failures. And we deserve better as a citizen. It's time for us to get a stricter enforcement, proper venting of drivers, you know, and ensuring roadworthiness of those trucks. That's why you see that in Aliko Dangote's organization, you see professors, doctors who are drivers. I tell people your professorship is dirty because in Aliko Dangote's organization, there are professors who are drivers that are being paid well. Please, enough is enough. Let's stop all these things. Or is it until everybody dies before we know that there'll be, you know, Zainab, quickly, what's your take on this? I need to wrap up.
You know, like you said, you know, when you're too blunt, people can't take it. I don't want to say we're a failed state because we're a great country, but I just want to say that it seems like everything is just going down the drain. And, you know, when the foreigners say we're a third world, we get upset. But this is exactly what it means, you know, because how can this be happening? Like, even when I step out, my mom is like, just scared. She's like, are you coming back? Because the roads... you back to back. Where are you now? Where are you now? Exactly. I'm like, Mom, stop it. She's like, no, you can't expect me to stop it. You don't know how crazy these drivers are and what happens. Before you know it, anything can happen, you know? And it's true because, you know, like you said, it still comes back to the government. You know, we need more better... failure. Exactly. We need safety measures. We need to care about... I don't even know why trucks should be like driving during the day on the same highways as, you know, normal cars and stuff. Of course, things are going to collide and it's going to cause
All these tragedies. Guys are running commentary in my ears. We need to go now. Many thanks again, Zainab, for your contribution. We've had an interesting time on Real Talk with Kike. Courtesy our resourceful guest, Princess Zainab Bayero. You know, thank you so much for coming on this show. Thank you so much. My name is Kike Atanda-Owo. It's important for you to catch me tomorrow at Inspiration FM, your drive time talk show at 5. I would be looking forward to speaking with you. Please remain kind to one another and stay safe. Bye now.